Hey everyone, welcome to Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Robbie.
Matt.
So today we finally reached, after a 3-month-long journey, we finally reached the end of Andor, and we're going to discuss at the Andor finale. So I guess just my general thoughts. I enjoyed the atmospheric, the melancholy atmosphere, and sort of the throwback to the first 3 episodes on Ferrix. That being said, I don't really think a lot happened this episode to move forward the plot beyond him just rescuing Bix and him just officially joining the rebellion at the end with Luthen. But besides that, there was no real character deaths. Nothing really moved the plot forward too much. It was just sort of a resolution to the first season, mainly just to call back the first season. But I thought it was overall a good episode, just nowhere near as good as the One Way Out or The Eye, or maybe a few other episodes. I think I might have enjoyed more than this one. But overall, I think enjoyable finale that definitely set things up for season 2. Although I don't think nothing really shocking happened. No real twists, I don't think, and no real holy shit moments. But beyond that, I think it was overall an enjoyable finale. So
yeah, I started off not a whole lot to say towards the beginning. I just thought it was kind of cool and stuff, but I got more and more into it as the show went on.
Although I won't say this episode was as bad as the first 2 episodes, or the episodes before The Eye, so it wasn't as slow as those. But I guess I'm coming off I was disappointed, but I just thought it wasn't as explosive a finale as it could have been. But there were some moments I really enjoyed, what's his mom's name, Marva's speech about fight the Empire. That was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, I liked that. That was cool.
And
how they kind of built up to that, and then her brick that's her ashes or something.
Oh yeah, I guess the brick
was basically the first hit.
Oh, okay. I guess the bricks are made out of the ashes. I didn't realize that at the time, but I guess.
Oh yeah, that's why he was carrying that brick. That was her body. Basically.
I guess she wasn't rare enough to become a diamond like most people turn their relatives into these days. But yeah, Matt, what did you think?
See, I beyond loved it because it just goes to show you how crisp and on point the writing was. Because there's so many subtle nuances to a lot of different things that build this world that got brought together properly, not haphazardly this guy just shows up for no reason. But the storylines coalescing, but a lot of things coalescing in a bigger, broader story. And I just think it just was really, really well done. I mean, to the point where the opening music, if you watch it, every week they would add something more and more to the thing, and then come to find out it's the Death March song in the last episode.
Yeah, well,
so they're building all that in.
They don't let you skip the intro. They'll let you skip the Star Wars little logo thing at the beginning, but they won't let you skip the actual Andor intro. So I guess in this case it was good that we all listened to it, because it was sort of specific to or relevant to the episode. But yeah.
And I just continuing, you can just tell there's a lot of thought put into this, unlike the Book of Boba Fett, where it was just kind of F all, let's bring back the Mandalorian for 3 episodes, which is more than you get Boba Fett.
Or Kenobi, where there was absolutely no point to that show whatsoever. It was just sort of a fan fiction thing that the fans just happen to have millions of dollars and the rights to Star Wars to produce. So, but it's going to be enough. But yeah, so Andor.
And I kept wondering, for multiple episodes, when are they going to show what he was building when he was a prisoner?
Oh yeah, so that was a nice payoff. Although I think it was
really
pretty
cool.
obvious. I wasn't oh okay, I figured, but I wasn't oh my god. I'm sure some people on YouTube will do they do those reaction videos. And it just shows.
I loved how they kind of showed the scale starting off, just the robot doing the well.
Yeah, but I saw
you see him bringing the pieces in.
Yeah, I saw the starfish, the iron starfish. I was from the prisoners, aha. But yeah, so I guess like no real twists. Although I thought, who's the blonde chick, Vel and Cinta?
Mm-hmm.
I thought like she was gonna do something twisty, as in like she was gonna like either turn on Luthen because she sent to the step away from the window. So apparently she had to tell her something important. That's what it seemed like. But I guess we don't find out what that is this episode. Maybe we'll find out next season, or I could just be misreading that completely. Did y'all think that was a significant moment?
I just think it was more about their relationship, about, am I really going to be part of this rebellion? I'm really not in it, for more than just these relationships. And just kind of like testing the relationship between the two characters.
Okay,
so
that was.
I think it was more personal.
To me, it seemed like because it was like step away from the window. Like I need to tell you, or she didn't say that, but like step away from the window. I felt that like she had to tell Cinta something, or like before we saw Cinta again, and we just saw Vel walking by her. So I was like, oh, did she kill Cinta? Is she really working for the Empire, or is she like a double agent for the Empire? And she's like secretly trying to turn in Luthen as Axis. Because I think like also what's the guy's name? The Partagaz, the main ISB dude. He says like find Axis. So I was thinking that maybe Luthen was going to be captured this episode because we know Andor was not going to get captured again because it was already captured once this season. So I was thinking that Luthen might get captured as Axis, or like she was going to betray Luthen to Miro or something like that. But yeah, no one was captured. No one was killed. Everyone's still alive.
Except for half the villagers of Ferrix, but
that's true. Oh yeah, and Zan, who we just met this episode. I think the guy who like jumped on one of the stormtroopers, he died. I was like, oh no, guy we knew for 2 minutes. It was sort of like the guy in the Two Towers, the elf dude has like who's killed at Helm's Deep, and he's like a really dramatic death scene. But I was just like in the theaters, just like we've only known this guy for 2 minutes. Why do I care? If it was Legolas, I might care, but like they're trying to make me care about this character we've only seen on the screen for 2 minutes. And like this camera's like on his face for like a long ass time, like at least 10 seconds.
For a
hit home.
For a character you barely know.
Yeah, for the bald guy with the beard. It looks like, I guess, Shel Silverstein. They killed Shel Silverstein. If they told me that was Shel Silverstein, then I would have cared more. But I was just like, this guy's. If it was like his really big friend with who was carrying the stone, yeah, then I'd care a lot more. But I didn't remember him. I also didn't remember Who was that?
Bosa is the name.
Oh, Bosa.
Of his friend, and he was the guy that was going to give him his story that he was drinking with him in the first episode.
Oh yeah, I did rewatch it, but it seemed like he's the one who sold out, or maybe mistakenly, drunkenly told the black dude who told the Empire that Cassian was in a certain building, right?
No, so that guy was trying to hit up Andor for credits in the first scene. And it's the comms operator at Bix's former work site. That's the one that got drunk and sold him out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Was that the guy? Was that the guy with the beard?
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. So he's the one who sold him out. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's actually killed during the riot. So.
Oh, I thought he was the one who helped them escape. He's putting like.
So that's a different guy.
Everyone has beards and they look dirty. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, it's hard to remember all the characters in the first 3 episodes. It's been 2 months since we've seen them.
The guy who owns the scrapyard where they're escaping from in the first episode tells Andor he's never helping him escape again. So I think that was kind of funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I thought the kid with the bomb, his dad was killed by the Empire.
Yep.
And he
he worked at the shop of the guy that got tortured before Bix, and it's implied that they killed him. So and that's why he has the photo there, because he's building the bomb with his, I don't know if it was friend, dad, uncle, what. So, but that goes once again to show you the subtlety and bringing all these storylines of people you didn't even care about, in episodes 1 or 2 that you only met for a minute, and here we are, dealing with them again and how they contribute.
Well, I only really remember his tall friend, but I think the first 3 episodes, this was definitely a callback. Like I said, I didn't like this one as much as the 3rd episode, where it's like, and that was like the first good episode of the season. But I still enjoyed it. I also Yeah, I think I'm going to be complaining the entire episode, but I still liked it. I think they really dropped the ball with Cyril's character after the first arc, because basically he's just sort of like his role as like the show's villain was sort of usurped by Miro, and he doesn't really do much except like get nagged by his mom and work a Office Space style job and then just creep on Miro. But
see, I have to completely disagree with you about Cyril's character arc, because I am 100% curious as to where he's going to go in the second season, whether or not he's going to go full aboard into the Empire, or is he going to realize the mistakes that the Empire is making and join the rebellion.
Maybe I was just thinking it would be like sort of like a Javert Valjean sort of Les Miserables relationship, where he's just kind of like just be chasing Andor across the galaxy and just being more of a formidable enemy. And he's just sort of a joke in this first season. Mostly he's just sort of like in over his head and doesn't really accomplish anything except getting himself fired. But we'll see. He rescued Miro, so I guess Miro will hopefully give him a promotion and let him into give him a higher. I'm guessing he's going to join the ISB next season. That's my thought, because there's going to be a time jump next season. Yeah,
but I think Miro is going to get fired from the Empire for her incompetence at Barracks, because she was in charge of this whole operation. Mm-hmm. And the Empire, being the Empire, is going to be like, you bungled it. Now we have a rebellion in Morlana 1 sector. And that other ISB agent is going to be like, hey, see, this is why we don't give her these things. She was, out of her depth.
And then she has to move in with her nagging mother. She has to move in with her nagging mother.
And she's going to get kicked out. And her and Cyril are going to have to figure out, like, do we have a place in the Empire? Maybe if we get Andor, we can get back in the Empire. Or are they going to be like, screw this, guys. The ISB is doing everything wrong. So
they're going to become roommates in Coruscant to move out from their crazy mothers, and it's going to become a new spinoff called Karn and Miro, and it's going to be like Dharma and Greg. And it'll still be better than Kenobi. Yeah, so just like a Star Wars sitcom on Coruscant. It's basically like what Lower Decks is for Star Trek, just like a situational comedy set in the Star Trek universe. So they'll just do it for Star Wars. But yeah, I don't know. So, I'm guessing
really
she might
quick,
get demoted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nod to Lower Decks. I just started that show. I got through 2 seasons in like 3 nights because it is beyond hilarious.
Okay. I guess there's a lot of red shirt jokes.
Yes, it is. It's really good. I didn't think I'd like it, and it's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, is all the Star Trek stuff on Paramount Plus?
Yes.
Okay. I think I got Paramount Plus obviously for Halo. And then I think I kept it just long enough to watch the first Strange New Worlds show. Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay. Apparently that's the best of the new live action Star Trek, from what I understand. But I heard like everyone doesn't like Picard or Discovery. Although I'm not like a huge Star Trek guy anyway, just because I think just like the sheer volume of stuff to watch is just a little daunting.
Yeah.
Sort of like Doctor Who or Bleach or One Piece. There's all these shows that everyone loves, but it's just like they each have like 400 episodes, and it's just like, I'm already in my 30s, so I'll probably be like dead before I watch it all. I just don't have time. I just don't have enough time on this earth, so I'll just watch new shows as they come out. Unless it's like shows just like Columbo, where like there's no like season long arcs. You just like watch one episode and you're done. Like each new episode's like, and like. I miss those kind of shows where just like you could just like watch, or like The Simpsons. Very little continuity in The Simpsons. There's no season long story arcs in The Simpsons. You can watch any episode of The Simpsons, and it's like that could be your first episode. You'd be fine. I think like the only continuity in The Simpsons is like Maude Flanders being dead at season 11, and like Ned being a widower. But besides that,
little references
and little references
characters.
And stuff. Yeah, but beyond that, so yeah, back to end.
So Mon Mothma throwing her husband under the bus. I love it.
Oh, about how she gambling.
That didn't go the way we thought. Okay, who's going to betray Mothma this season? Is her daughter going to betray her? Is the banker friend going to betray her? Is her husband going to betray her? And it's like, nope, she betrayed her husband.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Well, because she knew they were going to find the missing money, and all of a sudden she's marrying her daughter off to a gangster who the ISB is looking at. I love it how she's like, yeah, obviously it was you gambling.
Yeah.
So knowing that she's being listened to, I just thought that was, really cool writing.
Well, Matt, you weren't here for the last episode we did, but I'm guessing the last episode where she's like in that room, the dining room, with all her like fellow classmates, like reciting those speeches. Mm-hmm. Is that like what's her planet? Cerulean?
Chandrilia.
So is that like Chandrillian confirmation, or is that like the Palpatine youth, like we thought?
No. So it's part of their religion, the braid that binds our society together. Okay. And it's a very like, females don't play a big role, we'll say. They're reciting a specific religious text. I forget what it's called. Okay. But that's supposed to be like a little church group get together, and it's showing how her daughter is embracing the religion and the culture when she's trying to, break away from that.
So the daughter isn't going to be mad that she's being,
nope.
having an arranged marriage. So I mean, at least there's that level of drama won't be present. Although I think it would have been more dramatic, like if her daughter is very anti-Chandrillian and wants to be independent, and then her mother has to like sell her off, and then that would be very dramatic, I think. But I guess there was just enough drama.
See her throughout the series, she has her hair down, and then it's in like one braid, and then it's in the two formal braids by the last episode. So even like subtle clues like that, how she's embracing this culture.
It really just shows that kids will do anything just to piss off their parents. Like, oh, you don't want me to be a conformist to our planet society? I'll show you. I'll get arranged married right away. So, so I mean, like, obviously Mon Mothma didn't have a whole lot to do. At least this episode, she wasn't sitting on a couch and talking the whole time. She was just like sitting in a car and talking. But no, I mean, I get that the whole point of her character is just more diplomacy, and really just like she's like the wallet for the rebellion, and it's not really her role in the show isn't very action heavy.
Well, I will say this though, because they have been making nods to Rebels a lot, and I'm hoping that we get to see them rescue her before she gets arrested, which was in the show Rebels.
Was her husband and daughter in the show Rebels, or?
I don't remember. I just remember in that episode, like they have to like go to Coruscant to like get her out before she's being arrested, and they like just barely get her, and she's forced to leave everything else behind. So,
well, I was a little disappointed there was no Palpatine cameo, and I figured it would have been a really cool way to elevate Mothma's story if she was like in the Senate giving a speech and the Emperor showed up and just told her to shut up, or like her speech got drowned out because the Emperor showed up. And but I'm guessing like he's a little too, because I mean this show has showed no Jedi or Sith, and I guess the showrunners want to keep it that way. So like the no tights, no flights rule in Smallville.
I disagree with you. I think there is a Jedi in this show.
Oh, is it Luthen?
It's Luthen. It's totally Luthen.
Well, everyone said like his cane or whatever might be a lightsaber, and he gave Andor a kyber crystal, but I don't know. I think
and there's one specific scene where in this episode where he puts on his hoodie just like a Jedi. Oh, just like Obi-Wan would do. Boop boop.
Yeah, I think people are online have made that theory, but I think people are like also hoping it's not true because they just like the idea of they're not of like everyone in the show being just a regular person.
So there are Jedi who have cut themselves off from the Force, and that's a theory. And specifically though, his speech towards the ISB mole. He states 15 years prior, which is to date Order 66, not to date when the rebellion, and when the Emperor takes over. So like his dates are very suspect, and just like how he gets around, and his ship has lightsabers. Come on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just what's so cool about the show is like it can show like, hey, we don't need Jedi to sell a Star Wars show.
Which is funny because I think I was quoted in one of our very first podcasts saying we need a show without Jedi.
Yeah.
Show these rogue-like characters who have nothing to do with the bigger story, but do contribute to the bigger story.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be like absolutely like jaw to the floor shocked if they do make Luthen a Jedi. I just think it'd just be cooler if he was not Jedi. He would still be badass. He would even be more badass if he could was not a Jedi, because I think him getting away from the Imperials in that one episode really just showed like, wow, if he's just a dude, he's pretty impressive. But if he's like a Jedi, then it's like, oh, okay, not as impressive. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I could see it going either way. But people thought his assistant was like Princess Leia. She just sort of like look at Carrie Fisher. But I don't think that's the case. She wasn't in this episode, so
definitely be stupid.
Do you think he's going to go back to the pawn shop in season 2, or do you think there's going to be like a time jump and Andor's going to be his effeminate assistant undercover in Coruscant as his pawn shop assistant?
I think we'll find him doing something different, but still, running the network.
Yeah.
Which I think it's amazing that we got Forrest Whitaker for 2 episodes this whole series to come back and reprise Saw.
Yeah, there'll probably be more Forrest Whitaker stuff next season. But I mean, like, really, his role was so uneventful in Rogue One. So hopefully they do more to make him more interesting. Although he has been Rebels and Bad Batch,
Yep.
I haven't seen enough of him to make me excited for his character. So they just seem like maybe they'll boost him up to a season regular next season. But like I said, this show made me like Andor as a character, obviously, because I thought he was just sort of bland in Rogue One for the most part. Do you think we'll see any more Rogue One characters like those Asian guys, or
True, Imwe and both no, what's his name?
Completely forgot.
No, I don't think we'll see the temple guards, but I'm curious to see what higher ranking Empire officials we see.
I think Thrawn, although I think they're saving Thrawn for Ahsoka, so
yeah, definitely saving Thrawn for Ahsoka. But
so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just like the real world feel to this show. Obviously, it's set. There's a lot of CGI, but it's definitely more the humans are at the forefront.
They had a live set, so most of those were practical effects when they're on Ferrix, and there's almost no CGI used, and it's crazy to think for a 5-second shot you see actual droids that people had to build just for a wide shot of a village.
Yeah, they put all that that money into building up those practical effects and those practical sets, and yet they had to have Stellan Skarsgård on a CGI bike for 2 seconds. Couldn't you just get him on what they did in the first Star Wars movie? They just have a mirror to make it look like it's floating. Could you do that? Just make it look more practical? Because it's so obvious. He's on a green screen in that one shot where he's in the motorcycle. I'm just
yeah.
They could have at least made that look practical too if they went to all the effort to make the town of Rick's Road practical. But yeah, I did they definitely had a whole lot of extras for this, so I'm glad they didn't do what they did in that one show where they just had CGI'd extras. What was that? I think that was
kind
Rings
of
of Power.
copy and pasted.
It was Rings of Power. Yeah, I think they copy and pasted extras to make it appear like there was more people in one scene than there was. So I'm glad they didn't do that. As far as I know, I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess the riot scene was pretty that's probably my favorite part of the episode, where Marva's not her Force ghost, but her hologram ghost. I guess she recorded a message before she died.
Yep.
And I guess she was well enough to still be standing. I don't know how far in advance she made that video, but I guess sort of those, those movies where the guy dies and he leaves a video will behind. But beyond that,
it just really well once again written, because how the people of Ferrix are told they have to delay it an hour or two, and they still start on the time that they want, and it's showing these remember Luthen was saying these small acts that we need in response to the Empire cracking down. And it starts with a small act of them saying, like, no, we're going to have this funeral at noon, like we always do. It's our culture. Mm-hmm. And as we've seen on Aldani, the Empire is trying to get rid of local customs and culture for this, like, monotonous, you know, kind of culture that is the Empire. And so it starts with a small act of defiance.
It kind of like balls into a much bigger act of defiance.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't think, there was that one guy got stabbed by Sintra. But yeah, I
Who
mean,
was
they were
the ISB agent? Yep.
Yeah, so I was hoping the other guy would get killed too. The guy who was sort of in the middle of the riot, but he somehow escaped, and I don't think he wasn't really that badly hurt. But I was hoping he would get killed, but I guess not.
Sinta stabbing the ISB agent goes back to what Cassian said in the 3rd episode, how they can't even imagine people dressing like that, walking in and just, you know, they can't imagine these small acts of defiance or people wanting to betray them. Here this whole time, everybody knew he was an ISB agent, but he couldn't imagine Sinta being a rebel.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't just in his brain. They just don't think that way. And it goes back to the speech and once again, how tight the story writing is on that. But plus two, when they pull into that main area, like you just see all the bricks in the village and you're realizing that how it's bigger than them. And the fact that the speech takes place amongst all these bricks, which are the ashes of the people of Ferrix. So
yeah. Now I guess the anvil guy also was pretty important too, because I guess he was the I guess like in the British military, in like the Revolutionary War, the drummers, the British. I guess he was sort of like the drummer for the people of Ferrix, pounding on the anvil and giving them motivation to blow shit up. So
and one of the funniest stormtrooper death scenes ever.
Was that a Wilhelm scream he did when he kicked him off? Okay. Yeah, I was like, well, at least they
had that 300 kick.
Yeah, I was like, they only sent one guy up there, and he's like, get kicked off immediately. He was like such a non-threat.
Yeah, I thought they were going to show more coming up the stairs, but maybe that was the only guy who went up there.
Yeah, they figured like one guy could handle a guy with a hammer, and they were just like, nope. So, yeah, that was great. That was definitely the best moment of levity in this. So, but yeah, Andor rescues Bix, and she's so traumatized from the torture, she doesn't even like realize that Andor's there. I don't think, because at the end, she's like,
and she refuses to leave at first, because she doesn't want to make her captors mad. That's how bad they tortured her, listening to the screams of dead alien babies.
Yeah, so she's had a rough couple days. And I don't know. I guess she'll have a bigger. I don't know if she's going to be a bigger part of the rebellion. I don't know where the survivors are going. Because this tall friend, whose name I don't even remember, and Bixer.
Brasso.
Okay, yeah. Donnie Brasso. Yeah, he's going undercover for the Empire. That would be a twist. He was undercover the whole time, although I doubt it. Okay, I guess the robot got away to be something.
Be too emo because he's being too emo.
Oh wow! I wonder if the showrunner.
That has to have been done on purpose. There's no other excuse for a name like that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if like the showrunner Tony Gilroy is secretly a My Chemical Romance fan, and he had to have a robot called Emo. Although he's like, I think in his 50s, if that. So.
And I love how too they humanize kind of the droids in this series. How like, B2 Emo. He just wants to be with his human, how he has these emotions.
That's why I wanted them to kill that Imperial guy, because he flipped over B2 Emo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was so incompetent, he couldn't even cover up a hologram all the way with his jacket.
Well, it wasn't about his incompetence. It's about how in acts of a rebellion, the light will always shine through the darkness. Okay. And so they will become a beacon. Marva is becoming a beacon to the people of Ferrix and the rebellion. So I figured that was done on purpose, to kind of symbolize how even when the Empire tries to squash the rebellion,
but
one thing
Matt,
things always leak through.
In the real world, though, if you want to cover up a projector screen with a jacket, I think you could do a better job than he did.
Yep.
Yeah.
That being said,
and then back away.
I get the narrative significance of it, but I'm just like, you have to be pretty incompetent to fuck that up.
I saw a thing on a little Easter egg video with that hologram that when she says fight the Empire, you notice the hologram, the lip sync doesn't really seem to match up. They're saying she actually said fuck the Empire.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, maybe it was like
Disney changed it to fight.
Maybe it was like 1899, and we were watching the dubbed version instead of the subtitled version, Rob. So that's why the lip syncing didn't match up. So,
well, it did on everything else she said.
Yeah, always watched subtitled, folks. Don't watch dubbed.
PG-13, and I agree. You're allowed one F-bomb in PG-13.
That's true. Although they already got away with shit in the third episode. So I mean, I do think it'd be weird to like have like such a well-known swear word that we use in the U.S. That would sort of like take away the fantasy element of it, don't you think? Like, wouldn't it be better like Battlestar Galactica where they say it's the
frack? Oh, frack. God, I hated that so much. It was like distracting at a point.
Yeah, but to be fair, they can't say the F word anyway. So it's like, why don't we just make up our own thing with like the two main letters that everyone remembers? So we basically have the swear word, but we can get away with it. Sort of like in like 24, where Jack Bauer says "damn it," and I think like Kiefer Sutherland said in interviews, like, you know, when you're on like network TV, there's not really a whole lot of expletives you can use to express anger. So we just had to say "damn it" a lot. So, but you know, they say "damn," I think in the original trilogy, don't they? Or no, they say "I'll see you in hell." That line sort of took me out of the movie. It was like, well, what's hell in the Star Wars universe? Like, there's got to be like literally millions of cultures. Like, which hell are we talking about? Is it like the Wookiee hell, where it's like everyone's hairless? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that version of hell, but it's like they need something to like make the audience understand the dramatic weight of the scene. But yeah, so missing anything else?
No, but I think this series, when I first saw this trailer drop, I was like, I have no interest. It looked stupid. Yeah. I was like, this is going to be dumb. This is just Disney, you know, trying to get content out and destroying a franchise. And after 12 episodes, I am of the opinion this is the best Star Wars show ever made.
Yeah, I definitely
changed my opinion towards the end there.
I definitely had that opinion when I saw the trailer, and to be honest, I had that opinion after the first two episodes. But I think at the third episode, and especially I think by the time we got to the eye, I was definitely I definitely understood like how different, and I think much more care they put into the writing than the other Star Wars shows.
This show expanded the universe so much more than 6 movies have.
Yeah. And I'm really sort of disappointed that we're only getting 2 seasons. Because it seems like, you know, all those other shows, I mean, I don't know about Book of Boba Fett and probably not Kenobi, but like Mandalorian's getting 3 seasons already. And, you know, that is really all it's done is just like make live action versions of stuff we've already seen in Clone Wars. But like this show is definitely like really, really expanding the lore in a way that I don't think any of us expected. And I mean, I think season 2 might be a good way to cap it off, but it seems like there's still like 4 years to go between what's happening now and what happens in Rogue One. So it seems they could probably like squeeze like 4 more seasons out of it. But I mean, I don't know.
I like to the whole the whole structure of this season was 2 to 3 episode story arcs. And if it's a 3 episode, it's world building, action. If it's a 2 episode, it's world building, action. So
yeah. But it seems a shame that I think by this time next year, like there'll be no more Andor, and we're just gonna be stuck with Kenobi season 4, where he fights Vader for a 4th time before he fights him on A New Hope.
And I think that's why I had such a low opinion of the Andor trailer when it dropped too. Was Kenobi was just that bad.
It really like soured me on the whole Disney Plus Star Wars, and really just like She-Hulk has totally soured me on Disney Plus Marvel right now. But you know, Werewolf by Night was okay for what it was, but it was like I still haven't seen the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special yet.
And we have to discuss
neither
have I. But we have to discuss the big news of Disney this week. Iger is back because the previous boss was fudging the books when it came to how much Disney Plus was losing.
And I think he was the one who was like putting the brakes on all the new Star Wars movies. But to be fair, There's a pandemic, so it's not like they could have released. If they had already like made some, they just would have lost money on those anyway.
Well, so I think the bookkeeping is obviously like Black Widow can be labeled as a loss because it wasn't released in theaters and just online, but they got so many more subscriptions out of Disney Plus by releasing it on that platform. You know, but they don't have ticket sales, so therefore it's a flop. And it's like, was it really though?
It was a flop in my mind.
It was a horrible movie. Don't get me wrong. But like the amount of money they're saying they're losing on it is like, now they did not lose $110 million on this movie.
Yeah, and I think what really ticked me off this week, I don't know if it was like he said this a while back, but I think one of the producers, not Feige, but I think Nate Moore or something, like one of the main Marvel executive producers, so like, you know, anyone who's like a diehard Marvel Comics fan, that's a red flag for us, for whom we hire to do these shows. And I'm just like, you know, after like Black Widow and Moon Knight, and I think pretty much like these people who like did these shows who are not big comic book fans, I think it should be like a red flag if that's like one of your red flags for producer. You know, it's really because like to go back to the Black Widow thing, like that movie could have been so much better just looking at the comics. Like the recent Mark Waid run was really good, and like just so many great stories of Black Widow in the comics, just like with her alone, and they just did not capitalize on it. It seemed like a really dull, boring movie that was just a inferior Winter Soldier. But beyond that, you know, hopefully Feige will realize that Phase 4 didn't really go over too well, and they'll make some changes to, you know, improve it. But who knows? Could be wrong. At least Star Wars is getting better.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think I think Mandalorian season 3 is the next, I guess, live action Star Wars project that's coming out probably next year.
Think so.
And then I guess Ahsoka's coming out next year, but which I'm just like, you know, I'm pretty Jedi'd out at this point.
Yeah, I think actually it got shuffled a little bit too with all the releases next year. So
yeah, well, there's that Tales of the Jedi like anthology series on Disney Plus. I haven't seen that. Have any of y'all checked that out?
No.
Yeah, apparently there's like a young Dooku story. There's like a young Ahsoka story, and probably some other Jedis that I don't remember from Clone Wars. But it shows like Dooku with Qui-Gon as his Padawan. So I'm sure that could be interesting from a storytelling viewpoint. But yeah, maybe we can
supposedly there's a new season of Bad Batch coming out too.
Yeah, did y'all finish that one?
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
I liked the penultimate episode a lot, but I thought that the penultimate episode should have been the finale, because the actual finale was really uneventful and just sort of like a what do you call it? A bottleneck episode almost. So I won't spoil it, but I think they probably should have ended the season an episode earlier. But beyond that, like, you know, it's definitely a Star Wars show without Jedi, which is like what we want.
I just got tired of the adventure of the week. You go back and be like, hey, we need this. Go to this planet and get this. Okay, guys, let's go.
Yeah, I think I definitely got stuck on the episode with like the planet with the people with the two dongs on their head. What are those?
Twi'leks.
The Twi'leks, yes. So the Twi'lek saga, I think was where they lost me, but eventually I soldiered on through it, and I finished. If they do get back to the main storyline with what's the guy's Admiral Rampart, I guess is the main. He's like the Miro of the Bad Batch show, so he's like the main Imperial dude. So they got back to him and Crosshair and the race of people who cloned the clones.
Oh, Cadoshans.
Cadoshans, yes. They go back to Kadosh or whatever. So, whoa, spoiler. But yeah, it's sort of like, you know, they wrap everything up in a nice bow. But I think it's definitely worth finishing for the most part. Definitely way better than Kenobi and Boba Fett. I think, you know, but that's not that very hard to do. But yeah, so I guess next week we can talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Maybe.
And Willow.
Oh gosh.
Willow comes out November 30th. No, don't. Oh gosh, that was such a great movie in the 80s.
Yeah, it's fun to watch like an old woman versus old woman witch fight. You know, you don't get a lot of those in movies, because that's like what happened in the movie, right? There's like we had the one old lady who's evil and the other old lady who's good, and they're fighting each other. It's sort of like the fight in, it's like a sort of like the fight in Lord of the Rings between Gandalf and Saruman, but they did that like 20 years earlier in Willow. So I wonder if like Peter Jackson, because that scene was not in the book, right, with Saruman and Gandalf.
I don't remember it, so
I don't think that was in the book. So I'm sure Peter Jackson was inspired by Willow to give us that wizard v wizard fight because of that witch v witch fight in Willow. But I don't know, like that's just one of those movies. I know George Lucas did it, and I don't think it was like very successful. But I'm gonna let you watch it first, and then it was really worth my time. I'll check it out. I mean, they're in Lucasfilms. They might as well like milk everything they got, right?
yeah.
I think they released some of the Indiana Jones 5 not set photos, but like official stills from that movie. And surprise, surprise, Mads Mikkelsen's playing the bad guy. He's playing a Nazi. The guy from Rogue One, so this all ties together.
Yep.
He was the guy who built the Death Star in that, and he's gonna be like an ex-Nazi in Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah, nothing could be as bad as the last Indiana Jones. So,
well, I guess they realized communists just aren't as interesting as Nazis, or at least they're just not as.
And aliens.
And aliens, yeah. So aliens and commies aren't as fun to kill as Nazis. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know Steven Spielberg isn't directing it, so that's sort of like. As much as I hated Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it seems a bit of a sacrilege that Spielberg isn't directing an Indiana Jones movie, but I'm sure he wanted to do other things like West Side Story. I don't think any big movies coming out this year, right? I think Avatar. Excuse me. That's just how excited I am for that one.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff coming on Netflix actually next month. White Noise, I definitely want to check out.
Oh, is that like the Michael Keaton movie?
No,
White
it's
Noise?
the Kevin Bacon one back in the 90s, the horror movie. No, this has what's his name? Kylo Ren there. He's a family man, and there's a tragedy in the town where a train overturns, and it's them trying to like flee the town. But it's like kind of this dark comedy. It takes place in the 80s. And it's about like him being on his third marriage and having like all these kids he has to take care of.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is it a TV show or a movie?
Movie.
Oh, okay. Netflix's TV shows are way better than the majority of their movies. Obviously, Irishman was long, but I enjoyed it.
And betrayed by an old actor trying to fight. You can de-age him so much, but he still can't move fast.
Oh, yeah, trying to make us think that Robert De Niro can play a 20-year-old by CGIing his face into oblivion. Yeah, that was a little crazy, but I think for the most part, that was an okay movie, despite being really freaking long. But yeah, so what else? Besides White Noise, what else?
I forget, but I know there's like 10 different movies and shows coming out. I think they're releasing 122 new things in December.
Oh, wow. Just try to get our own shows greenlit. Yeah. 1899 is really good. I think from what I've seen, I think you really dig it. And you have the option to watch it dubbed or subbed. So, yeah, maybe we can talk about that next week, along with the holiday special.
So, all right, sounds great.
There's like 10 different shows. There's 10 different languages in that show. So, I don't think you want to watch them all dubbed. But yeah, that's our show. Rob, you want to plug our social media?
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Zealot Podcast. Yeah, then you'll see a link to our Discord. Chat with us in there, see what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you thought of the Andor finale, and if you're looking forward to season 2. I know I am, much more than Book of Boba Fett season 2. If that even's going to happen, which I don't think so. But yeah, that's our show. I'm Forrest.
I'm Robbie.
Matt.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.